Hello people. So this short video is to help you understand how to share your screen in a live stream directly on YouTube, or also you can use this software that you're seeing on your screen to record videos and create great effects while taking a session or recording your video. So let's look at the steps one by one. So what you're seeing on the screen right now is the application called OBS Studio. This is available absolutely free of cost. You don't have to pay anything for this. Now let's look at how we go about recording a video using this. So live stream, YouTube live stream or Facebook live stream, I will explain later. It's a simple process. If you're able to record it, you will also be able to live stream your videos. So the simple process that we have to follow is looking at the screen. You first have to create different scenes. Now what you're seeing in the bottom left hand side of the screen is the area where you see scene. So let's go and rename the first scene, and we call it, let's say you want to show two things simultaneously in your video. For example, your own video, which is being recorded using your web camera, and your presentation. So I'll call it PPT and camera. This is scene one. So let's start with adding sources to this particular scene. Now what you're seeing on the screen next to scenes is sources. So first thing I'm going to do is add a nice looking background to my video. Let's go and click on the plus sign here in the bottom right hand side of the screen and then click on image. Let's rename it as background. Okay, now I browse the picture. So I have this folder where I have a variety of backgrounds available to me, and I like this one the most. So this is going to be the background of the video. I click on OK. Now you see that it is pretty huge in size. I'll have to resize it. In order to resize it, I can simply click on this drag option in the top left hand side, keep dragging it downwards until it fits my production size. So this is how it looks. This is going to be the background of the video. Now the next thing I am going to add is the logo. Again, go to add sign, click image. Let's say it's the logo. Click OK, browse for the logo. Now I have two options here. One is with white background and one is without white background. So since the wall is white, if you're using dark color for your background, you can use the logo which has background in it. Otherwise, if it's a light background, then you can use the logo itself simply. I am clicking OK. Again, I'll have to resize the logo to fit in any one corner of the screen, and I would want it to be in the top right corner. So this size is optimized. Even if somebody is watching it on a phone screen, he will be able to, or he or she will be able to see the logo clearly. And I change the background slightly. This looks better. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is add my video, my live feed. I go to plus sign again and I go to video capture device. This is going to be my web camera or your phone's camera connected to your laptop. I will explain how to use your phone's camera as web camera in a different video. So I just click OK, and let me see. I have this camera selected by default. I can click OK. Okay, so now let's go ahead and position it in the bottom right hand side of the screen. Now depending on the size of the backdrop and the orientation, you could be in a standing position while recording this video, you could be sitting on a chair, completely depends on your comfort level. Now the next thing I need to do is remove this green background and crop this video from the corners so that I have the optimized space being utilized while recording the video. So let's have a look at it. I am going to click on the web camera here, click on filters. In the bottom left hand side of this pop-up window, I click on the plus sign and then I go to crop pad, click on OK. Now it tells me how many pixels do you want to crop. So from left, I can safely crop say 100 pixels, from top 50, maybe a little more than that, 80, that looks okay. Right about 20, and bottom so that this chair is hidden to some extent, let's say 50. This looks pretty okay. I think right, we can add 10 more. Okay, this looks all right. And now another filter that I am going to add here on the same window is clicking on the plus sign again and clicking on chroma key. Now when I click on chroma key, you see that the green backdrop is gone, right? This is how the video is going to look on your screen, how your audience will be able to see it. You can see it right here. Now I am seeing some light on the extreme right hand side, so maybe I can go back to the crop filter and from the right hand side maybe add 10 more. That looks better. And going back to the chroma key, I can adjust the there are different options which will help you clear these edges that you're seeing, the green light that you see on my hair. We can play around with these settings to see how that actually looks. This is slightly better. So I don't want my video to be transparent. I can simply change these settings to some extent, not majorly. I can make changes, but this will improve if you have better light in front of you. So I only have this light in my room which is there. If you have more light available in the room, make it as lit as possible, and then you will see a better looking video. Maybe these green edges that you're seeing on my face, around my face, will not be visible. Okay, let's go to close. This looks manageable, decent enough, I would say. So now the next thing, since we have called the scene PPT and camera, I need to add my presentation also. So the next thing I am going to do is go to the plus sign again. And before that, I need to have my presentation open. So I have this folder on the desktop. I have this presentation available with me. Now, before I actually share this presentation, I need to make sure that it is in the full screen mode. So once the presentation is open, press F5 on the keyboard to make it go full screen. Now you'll be worried about going back to your OBS Studio production window. Simple, press Alt plus Tab on your keyboard and go back to OBS Studio. Now I am going to click on the plus sign again, and I am going to the option called Window Capture. So I am going to name it as PPT. Okay. Now select the PowerPoint show. It is already selected, but you can see a lot of chaos on the screen. It's simple, nothing to worry about. Go to capture method, select Windows Graphic Capture Windows 10. That's it. And this is your presentation. Now it is covering my entire screen, which I obviously don't want in this particular scene. I am going to resize the presentation, place it somewhere here so that my logo is visible completely, and I am also visible. So I am going to resize my video and I am going to bring it to the top so I don't get hidden behind the presentation. This is how it looks. So you can make changes as you want, resize it to the extent that you want. If you are obviously in a standing position, you can probably make it go a little more bigger. This is how your scene 1 looks. Now let's have a look at the second scene. I am going to right click on the scene, create a duplicate of it and call it camera only. Click OK. Now it's the same scene that we have created earlier also. I am just going to need to remove my presentation from this scene because I have named it camera only. I click yes and the presentation is gone. Now, since I am going to have only the camera view in this particular scene, I am going to resize my video to the extent that I want. So while you are in this particular scene, it will be only you who will be visible to your audience. Right, now let's go ahead and duplicate the first scene again and rename it to Ppt Only. So in this particular scene, I am going to remove my camera. It's just the presentation that I want people to see. I can resize the presentation, bring it to the middle of the window. This is how it will look. Good to go. So I have created 3 different scenes for this video that I am going to record now. I will record a short video and then show you the final production also as to how it will look to your audience if you are streaming it live or if you are recording it. So we'll start with the first view where I am only showing my camera. When I am addressing my audience, I am talking to my audience, introducing the topic. This is how I will actually start. Okay, so camera only view, and I click on this button here called start recording. Okay, so the recording has started and we are starting this session. This session is about a particular topic which is related to GK, right? So you introduce the topic now. Now you go back to your computer screen, you have a look at it. Now, obviously you need to share the presentation. Now, while you share the presentation, you also need to look at the presentation. Okay, and you will probably need to scribble on the presentation. You will have to use your pen tablet or touchscreen device that you're using with your PC. What I am going to need to do is I am going to switch the view to PPT and camera, and then using the Alt Tab buttons on my keyboard again, I am going to go to the presentation. Now this is how the presentation looks. Now you will not realize that your video is being recorded where you are also visible and your PPT is also visible because you have the PPT on the full screen mode. But don't worry about the recording, it is happening in the background. Now you start with the presentation, introduce the topic, talk about whatever you want to, use the writing tool to scribble, explain things, whichever way you want to do. Okay, so this is how you scroll between different slides, and then in the middle of the video you will realize that you want to go on full screen mode once again, right? So simply again using the Alt Tab buttons on the keyboard, switch back to the OBS Studio and click on the camera only view. You are again on the full screen mode now. Now you're explaining something. After a minute you realize that now you have to make the presentation visible on the screen, not your camera. So you switch to the third scene, which is PPT only, and explaining the PPT using the Alt Tab button, go back to the PowerPoint show, start doing whatever you want to on the presentation. So you explain it again and you are on the last slide of the presentation. Now you want to conclude, you want to end this recording, you want to encourage audience to look for more videos. Go back to the OBS window, switch back to the camera only view, explain everything that you want to, and simply click this stop recording button in the bottom right hand side of the screen. That's it, you're done. Now let's look at the production ones. I am going to click on this option called file in the top left hand side, click on show recordings. Now this file which has been saved is in the FLV format. This is something that you cannot upload on YouTube. What you're going to need to do is convert this file to MP4 format. Why OBS records it in the FLV format? For the simple reason, if the window crashes in the middle, something happens with your software, FLV file is saved to that extent where the window crashed. If you are recording in MP4 format directly, your entire video will be gone. So that is why we record it in FLV format, and to convert it to MP4 format, simple process that you have to follow is click on file once again, click on Remux recordings, click on this button with 3 dots. Now it is showing you the video that you have recorded. Double click that video. It will automatically show you that it will be converted to MP4 format here in the right hand side, and you click on Remux. It takes less than 2 seconds for a 5 minutes video. That's it, not more than that. You're done with it, go back to File, Show Recordings. Now you see that the MP4 file is also saved here. I am going to play it for you so that you understand how the final production looks, which you have created using OBS Studio. Okay, so the recording has started and we are starting this session. This session is about a particular topic which is related to GK. Right, so you introduce the topic now. Now you go back to your computer screen, you have a look at it. Now obviously you need to share the presentation. Now while you share the presentation, you also need to look at the presentation. Okay, and you will probably need to scribble on the presentation. You will have to use your pen tablet or touchscreen device that you're using with your PC. What I am going to need to do is I am going to switch the view to PPT and camera, and then using the Alt Tab buttons on my keyboard again, I am going to go to the presentation. Now this is how the presentation looks. Now you will not realize that your video is being recorded where you are also visible and your PPT is also visible because you have the PPT on the full screen mode. But don't worry about the recording, it is happening in the background. Now you start with the presentation, introduce the topic, talk about whatever you want to, use the writing tool to scribble, explain things, whichever way you want to do. Okay, so this is how you scroll between different slides, and then in the middle of the video you will realize that you want to go on full screen mode once again, right? So simply again using the Alt Tab buttons on the keyboard, switch back to the OBS Studio and click on the camera only view. You are again on the full screen mode now. Now, you're explaining something. After a minute, you realize that now you have to make the presentation visible on the screen, not your camera. So you switch to the third scene, which is PPT only, and explaining the PPT using the Alt Tab button, go back to the PowerPoint show, start doing whatever you want to on the presentation. So you explain it again, and you are on the last slide of the presentation. Now you want to conclude, you want to end this recording, you want to encourage audience to look for more videos. Go back to the OBS window, switch back to the camera only view, explain everything that you want to, and simply click this stop recording button in the bottom right hand side of the screen.